Have you ever felt lost in the labyrinth of your own mind, as if a tempest of thoughts, anxieties, and worries relentlessly drags you down, leaving you drained and without direction? We live in an era that demands constant motion, bombarding us with distractions and suggesting that mental peace is a luxury for a select few. Yet this perpetual inner turmoil isn't our natural state. It's a consequence of neglecting fundamental principles, truths that ancient civilizations understood and applied to forge unyielding resilience in the face of hardship. If you're tired of being a prisoner to your own thoughts, if you long for genuine respite amidst this chaos, then this message offers an invaluable opportunity. There was a philosophical school of thought, originating in ancient Greece and flourishing in imperial Rome, whose adherents faced banishment, profound loss, illness, and the brutal pressures of authority. Despite these trials, they discovered the secret to deep and lasting tranquility. The Stoics weren't strangers to suffering or uncertainty. Rather, they delved into these experiences to comprehend how the human mind could endure, adapt, and thrive even in the most challenging circumstances. They bequeathed to us a collection of practical methods, wisdom refined on the battlefield of existence, designed not to sidestep problems, but to transform you into someone capable of overcoming them. Their teachings reveal that true calmness isn't found in a perfect world, but in mastering our inner domain. In this video, we'll unearth these ancient strategies, tailored for today's challenges, enabling you to quiet the noise, regain control of your thoughts, and build the mental fortitude you desperately need. Every moment is crucial, as each piece of advice we share is a vital component of this serenity puzzle. Don't stop halfway. Commit yourself to uncovering these potent tools until the very end. And if you find value in this enduring wisdom, if you feel it can illuminate your path, we ask for something simple yet profoundly meaningful. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss future content that will help you navigate life with greater clarity, and share this message with someone who might also need it. Your support helps this essential wisdom reach more individuals who, like you, are desperately seeking an anchor in the storm. Observe your thoughts. Your mind is a tireless generator of mental activity, ideas, judgments, fears, desires. Most people live ensnared in this current, completely identifying with every thought that arises. This is a crucial mistake. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness capable of observing them. This is a core truth taught by the Stoics, though often overlooked. What disturbs you isn't the event itself, but your interpretation of it. An offhand remark, an unexpected situation, that's the fact. Your mind, however, layers on drama. This means I'm worthless. It's a total disaster. This always happens to me. This inner voice is a relentless narrator, often distorted and prone to negativity. The key is to cultivate the ability to step back. Imagine your thoughts as vehicles passing on a highway, and you are the observer on the side. You are not obligated to board every vehicle. You don't need to inspect its cargo or follow its destination. You simply watch them pass. This ability to detach requires practice, a mental discipline. When a disturbing or negative thought appears, don't get entangled in it, don't argue, simply notice it. There goes a thought about future worry, and allow it to continue its course. By not clinging to it, you diminish its power. By not identifying with it, you create vital space within yourself where serenity can take root. You become the sovereign of your own mental landscape, rather than a victim of passing clouds. It's a continuous internal battle, yes, but each act of non-judgmental observation is a victory in the fight for your peace. Master your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the conversation you have with yourself. I'm not referring to daily plans, but to that constant voice commenting on every action, every feeling, every interaction. This is your inner dialogue, the private narrative that shapes your perception of reality. For too many, this voice is an unforgiving critic, a saboteur that plants seeds of doubt and fear. I failed again. I'm not good enough. This is impossible for me. Do you recognize that tune? This voice, if not kept under strict control, wears you down, erodes your confidence, and keeps you trapped in a cycle of anxiety and unhappiness. Epictetus put it precisely. It's not circumstances that disturb us, but our judgment about them. And that judgment stems directly from how you speak to yourself, from the words you use to interpret your experience. If your inner dialogue is hostile and negative, your view of the world and yourself will be tainted by distrust. But here lies a transformative power. You have the capacity to re-educate that voice. Don't expect instant magical change, but a process demanding awareness and persistence. Begin by listening to it without identifying with it, simply acknowledging its presence. Identify recurring negative thought patterns, then confront them. You don't have to accept every pronouncement from your mind as absolute truth. Question it. Is this statement truly accurate? Is there a different perspective? Replace destructive statements with questions that open possibilities. Instead of "I can't do this," ask yourself, what steps can I take to try? Instead of "everything is wrong," consider, what aspects of this situation can I actually influence? These small alterations in your internal language profoundly impact your mental state. Your brain responds to the words it receives. If you use limiting and critical language, you generate limitations and hopelessness. If you use language that challenges and seeks solutions, you build resilience and strength. Protect your inner dialogue with the same resolve you'd protect your home. It's your most intimate space. Don't allow fear or self-criticism to take control. Become the vigilant guardian of the words inhabiting your consciousness. Anchor with your breath. When you feel overwhelmed, when frustration consumes you or anxiety grips you, what happens to your body? Your breathing quickens, becoming shallow, uncontrolled. Your physical state mirrors mental chaos. But here's the key. This connection works in both directions. If you take control of your breathing, you can send a clear signal to your nervous system. It's time to calm down. Breathing is your direct link between body and mind. It's the only automatic function you can consciously influence, and in that capacity lies extraordinary power. While the Stoics didn't use the same breathing techniques we do today, they understood the importance of temperance, of self-mastery. And breathing is a fundamental tool for achieving that mastery. Think of it as your personal anchor, always available to bring you back to the present moment when your thoughts drift away. A simple practice, yet one that requires intention. When you feel overwhelmed or even anticipating a tense moment, pause. Close your eyes if it helps you focus. Feel the air entering and leaving your nostrils. Inhale slowly and deeply, expanding your abdomen. Pause briefly. Exhale even more slowly, releasing tension with each breath out. Repeat this cycle. Just a few minutes of conscious breathing can drastically alter your mental state. It won't eliminate your problems, but it will provide the clarity and calm needed to respond instead of merely reacting. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anything external causes you distress, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment about it, and you have the power to change that judgment at any moment." One of the most direct ways to influence that perception is through breath. Every conscious inhalation and exhalation is a reminder that you can begin anew in this instant, that you can choose not to be swept away by the maelstrom of thought. Make conscious breathing a habit, not just during formal practice. Use it while waiting, walking, interacting with others. This simple act, performed with intention, has the power to transform your entire mental state. A mind that breathes attentively is a mind that doesn't overflow. And in a world accelerating uncontrollably, you have the power to pause and simply breathe. Right to release. Your mind can become a dumping ground if you don't regularly clear it out. Unresolved thoughts, suppressed emotions, worries endlessly circling, everything accumulates, generating tension and exhaustion. Seneca, with his profound understanding of the human condition, observed that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. And where does that torturous imagination originate? In your head, replaying the same negative scenarios over and over. Writing is your tool for liberation, your private space to pour out everything that troubles you. You don't need to be a professional writer. Grammar or style don't matter. You just need a medium, paper and pencil, or a screen, and the honesty to face what's churning inside. Write whatever weighs on you, without censorship, without worrying about judgment. Fears, frustrations, regrets, unspoken conversations, allow them to emerge. Seeing your thoughts on paper strips them of the diffuse power they hold when they only exist in your mind. What seemed like an insurmountable problem when written down often reveals itself as manageable, or even loses its intensity when exposed to light. It's a way of imposing order on inner chaos, of giving form to confusion. Marcus Aurelius used his meditations as a personal journal, a record of his thoughts and principles to guide his life, with no intention of publishing it. It was his method for anchoring himself in reason and virtue amidst the immense pressures of leading an empire. Adopt this practice. Don't seek external recognition, but rather the clarity and serenity that come from emptying your mind. Dedicate a few minutes each day, morning or night, to this mental cleanse. It's an act of radical self-care that will leave you space to breathe more lightly. A written mind is a mind that begins to free itself from its own shackles. Close the repetitive loop. How often do you find yourself replaying the same unpleasant situation in your head? How many times have you analyzed a past mistake to exhaustion? How much time have you wasted dwelling on hypothetical and negative scenarios? Your mind has a strong tendency to get caught in repetitive thought patterns, a cycle that endlessly reproduces like a broken record, and this constant rumination is a significant drain on your vital energy and a tireless generator of anxiety. Marcus Aurelius, with his usual directness, would tell you, stop arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. That is, abandon useless rumination about what you cannot change or what has already happened, and focus on action, on what is within your reach right now. Stoicism doesn't urge you to ignore problems or not reflect on your experiences. It encourages you to do so once, to extract the necessary lesson, and crucially, to move forward. Getting stuck in repetition is a form of self-sabotage. It's like trying to empty a lake with a teaspoon. You'll exhaust yourself before achieving significant change. Identify those recurring thoughts that steal your peace. The next time they arise, acknowledge them and tell yourself with determination, I've had this thought before, I've already processed this situation, or there's nothing more to process. Now I choose to let it go, and immediately intentionally direct your attention elsewhere. You can perform a physical task, focus on your breath, observe your surroundings. At first, the mind will resist and want to return to the familiar pattern, but each time you consciously break that loop, you weaken its grip on you. Forgive yourself for past mistakes, accept what you cannot change, and above all, decide that your mind is too valuable a space to turn into a prison of endless repetition. Free it from that unproductive cycle. Focus your energy. We live in a culture that glorifies constant busyness, multitasking, rushing from one place to another without pause. We're told that doing many things at once means being productive. This is a trap. This mindset leads to a scattered mind, constant fatigue, and the feeling of always being in motion but never truly advancing in what matters. Your attention, a limited and valuable resource, fragments in multiple directions, jumping from one task to another, from one thought to another, and in that fragmentation, your mind never finds a foothold, never rests. The Stoics didn't know about today's digital distractions, but they understood the vital importance of concentrated attention. Seneca observed, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And how is it wasted? By living mentally in multiple places at once without being fully present in any. The strategy is challenging in its simplicity. Do one thing at a time and dedicate your full attention to that single task. If you're eating, focus on eating. Feel the flavors, the textures, pay attention to the act of nourishing your body. Put away your phone, turn off distractions. If you're walking, simply walk. Feel the movement of your body. Observe your surroundings without judgment, just perceiving them. Don't use this time to ruminate on your problems. Use it to anchor yourself in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius urges you to a radical practice. Perform every action of your life as if it were your last. It may sound extreme, but the core idea is powerful. If you approach each task with total presence, you grant it dignity and meaning. By concentrating your energy on a single action, your mind aligns with your body. It stops scattering. It finds a center. And in that focus, in that total presence, resides a calm and effectiveness that multitasking can never offer. It's not about being less productive in quantity, but about being more effective and serene in the quality of your attention. It's a silent rebellion against the frenzy of modern life. Walk and reconnect. Walking, such a fundamental and accessible activity, holds immense potential for calming the mind and restoring your connection to the present. But I'm not referring to distracted walking while on your phone or with your mind engrossed in worries. I mean walking with intention, in silence, paying attention to the simple act of moving. The Stoics naturally practiced it as part of their daily life. Marcus Aurelius, despite his responsibilities, found time to walk and reflect. They intuitively understood what science today confirms. Rhythmic movement can calm the nervous system and help untangle the knot of thoughts. When you walk without distractions, your attention, often hijacked by thought loops or lost in the future and past, has an opportunity to return to the only moment that is real, the now. Feel the contact of your feet with the ground, the breeze on your face. Listen to the sounds around you without analyzing them, simply perceiving them. This simple, grounded act pulls you out of the prison of your own head. It's as if your body, by moving consciously, guides your mind back to tangible reality. Thoughts will still appear, of course, but instead of being a whirlpool that engulfs you, they become fleeting phenomena you can observe without clinging to them. Seneca said, "He who is always running cannot enjoy the beauty of the journey." He wasn't just referring to life in general, but to every instant. If your mind is elsewhere while your body moves, you are not fully experiencing that moment. You are simply existing, disconnected. Make silent walking a daily ritual. Duration doesn't matter. What matters is the intention. It's your time to realign, to remind your mind who is in control, the consciousness inhabiting this body, here and now. It's a form of active meditation, a method to clean the mental slate step by step. And with each conscious step, you reclaim another fragment of your inner peace. Find inner silence. We live in a world saturated with sound. External noise constantly bombards us. Notifications, traffic, superficial conversations, media. But the most persistent noise is internal, the whirlwind of thoughts, incessant worries, self-criticism, doubts. We've come to avoid silence, to fill it with any stimulus, because confronting our own minds without distractions can be uncomfortable. However, silence is not an absence. It's a space of presence, a place where clarity can emerge. The Stoics, though not practicing formal meditation as we do today, valued moments of solitude and deep reflection. Marcus Aurelius sought tranquility for writing. Seneca advocated for time alone for self-examination. They knew that to pacify the mind, it was essential to step away from constant commotion. Creating moments of absolute silence each day is not a luxury. It's a vital necessity for your mental well-being. Disconnect from your devices. Find a place where you can be undisturbed. Sit or simply remain still. Don't try to force your mind blank. That's a futile struggle. Simply sit in silence and observe the external and internal soundscape without clinging to anything. Listen to your own breath, the sounds of the environment. At first, your mind will likely agitate, seeking distractions. It's the natural resistance to stillness. But if you persist, if you hold firm in that space of silence, the intensity will diminish. Thoughts will begin to calm like dust particles settling in a quiet environment. And in that space, in that stillness, you will find a clarity that constant noise denies you. You'll discover that you don't need to fill every second with stimuli, that simply being present in silence is an act of inner strength. Your mind, accustomed to the whirlwind, will resist, but impart discipline. Give it the gift of silence and it will reward you with a peace you thought unattainable. Accept what you cannot control. This is a difficult truth to embrace, but essential if you seek mental peace. The vast majority of life's aspects are beyond your direct control. The actions of others, unexpected events, circumstances outside your will, none of that is within your command. And yet, we dedicate a considerable amount of mental and emotional energy trying to control it, worrying about it, suffering over what we cannot change. Epictetus, who experienced the powerlessness of slavery, articulated it precisely. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Your serenity depends on learning to draw that line and, crucially, letting go of what lies beyond your sphere of influence. This is not passive resignation, but strategic intelligence. What sense is there in wasting your valuable mental energy on a battle you cannot win? Accepting the uncontrollable frees up an enormous amount of internal resources. It allows you to concentrate your power where it truly lies, in your attitude, your choices, your actions, in how you choose to respond to what life presents you. If you cling to the frustration of not being able to change someone, you lose the opportunity to modify your own reaction to that person. If you torture yourself over a past mistake you cannot undo, you prevent yourself from acting differently in the present. Acceptance does not mean you agree with or like the situation. It means you recognize reality as it is. Marcus Aurelius offers concise guidance. Receive without pride, let go without attachment. Accept what comes, without vanity or resistance. And when something leaves, allow it to depart without your identity crumbling. This practice transforms you into a solid structure against the blows of fate. You don't control the wind, but you do control your ability to stay rooted. Release the illusion of total control, and you will discover authentic inner freedom. Prepare for the worst. Here's a strategy that might seem counterintuitive to many. Sometimes the most effective way to appreciate what you have and to fortify yourself against future adversities is to seriously contemplate the possibility of losing everything. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the meditation on future evils. It's not an exercise in pessimism, but a mental preparation, similar to a warrior visualizing the challenges of combat so as not to be taken by surprise. Consider your deepest fears. Do you fear losing your job, a significant relationship, your health? Good. Force your mind to confront these scenarios. How would you adapt if you lost your income source? How would you face solitude or a debilitating illness? It may seem like a bleak exercise. However, there is considerable strength in confronting your worst fears in the safety of your mind. By daring to look into the abyss without flinching, you strip it of much of its intimidating power. And more importantly, each day that passes without these calamities occurring becomes a reason for profound gratitude. The food on your table, the stability in your life, the people around you, everything acquires immense value. You stop taking things for granted. Genuine gratitude, that which arises from a deep understanding of the fragility of everything, flourishes in this ground. This practice prepares you for life's inevitable blows, ensuring that when they arrive, they don't leave you utterly devastated. It makes you resilient. It teaches you to value the present moment with renewed intensity because you know how easily it can vanish. It's not for those who avoid emotional confrontation. It's for those who understand that true peace doesn't reside in ignoring darkness, but in knowing that you possess the strength to withstand it. You have now journeyed through these insights. We've explored 10 pathways to inner strength, guided by the unyielding wisdom of those who mastered chaos. These weren't instant magical solutions, were they? They are practices demanding courage, honesty, and an iron will to look inward and take charge of your own mind. We learn to observe thoughts without being swept away, to shape confusion by writing it down, to find calm in silence and conscious movement. We uncovered the liberating power of accepting what we cannot control and the peculiar strength born from mentally preparing for challenges. We saw how breath and inner dialogue are your closest allies or your worst enemies, depending on how you use them. This exploration isn't the end, it's merely the beginning. You hold in your hands a time-tested map, a series of tools that will enable you not only to survive the storm, but to navigate it with dignity and purpose. Mental peace isn't the absence of problems, but the presence of a trained mind, an awakened consciousness capable of finding serenity amidst adversity. Every practice we've discussed today is a step in that direction, an opportunity to reclaim your inner power and cease being a helpless passenger on the roller coaster of your thoughts and emotions. Transformation won't happen on its own. It requires your daily commitment, your constant effort. So, the ball is in your court now. You have the knowledge. The next step is action. Choose one of these strategies, the one that resonates most with you, and turn it into a habit. Start today. And if this journey through Stoic wisdom has resonated with you, if you feel this perspective can be a beacon in your life, I invite you to join this community of seekers of inner calm. Give this video a strong thumbs up so this knowledge reaches more people who desperately need it. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to ensure you don't miss future content that will continue to challenge and guide you. Share this video with someone you know is quietly struggling. Remember, mastering your mind is the most important battle you will ever fight. You are equipped. Now go and live